Before this video begins, I'd like to make a special thank you to Johnny Young Bosch for being on the podcast. It was amazing getting to work with you for this, as well as my friend Tommy, who did the audio for this. And I'd also like to apologize for the peak in audio on my end. I was using a new microphone that I had no knowledge of how to use. But with that being said, I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you.
Vash from Trigun, Lelouch v. Britannia, and Ichigo Kurosaki. What do these three characters have in common? Well, nothing at all other than being part of the shonen genre of Japan. However, there is one thing these three characters have in common, and they all three are voiced by Johnny Young Bosch. Joining me today is none other than the most iconic voice in anime history, Johnny Young Bosch himself. How are you, Mr. Bosch?
I'm doing good, yeah.
First of all, let me say it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on the podcast, Seireitei Talk.
Cool.
This is the podcast where we talk about anything and everything Bleach related, so I am going to be asking you a lot of Bleach questions amongst... Right. Before we begin, though, is there anything that's off limits?
Anything that's off limits?
Yeah, any type of question or anything like that?
Well, I mean, we're recording, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, I'll just say no comment.
No comment.
Yeah.
No comment? All right. I'll start it off with a little bit of a weird question. What's your favorite drink?
I thought this was Bleach related.
Yeah.
Favorite drink?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let's see. You know, I drink maybe too much Diet Dr. Pepper.
Really? Yes, this is a Bleach podcast, but as when I have guest stars on, such as yourself and other people, I like to just talk to them as a friend, for the most part. But speaking of Bleach, how far have you gotten in the final arc? I know I talked to you yesterday.
I haven't sat down to read it all, but I've been told the entire story through the years by the fans, so I know what has happened.
Yeah.
I've seen, I've been sent a lot of images from the manga, so what happens at the end and throughout. So I've definitely seen what's going on and what's happened. So
you like Ichigo's new outfit, like the final arc?
I'm cool with it. I mean, again, it's just one of those things where it'd be pretty sweet for it to get animated and get done,
Yeah. But I have a lot of questions for you.
Let's do it.
The first being, like I asked you yesterday, what are your thoughts on Ichigo ending up with Orihime? What happened to Eye Shine, things like that.
Yeah.
The now banned Falling for Giants.
Where Giants Fall.
Where Giants Fall. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
And as well as upcoming projects. If you can't talk about anything with that, I understand. I'll try and ask it when we're not recording.
Yeah, no, sure. Yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, obviously there are some things I can't talk about, certain things I can, but the only things I can really talk about are the stuff that's either been announced or that are already completed and I'm allowed to talk about. So I'm in the process of working on or I'm about to work on, I can't really talk about yet.
Yeah.
Or shouldn't.
Well, the one thing I've heard about you is your roles in Naruto, how it is Viz that dubs Naruto, or it's Funimation?
No, well, Viz definitely owns, I think, the distribution on it.
Okay.
But for me, whenever I go in and work on Naruto, it's at Studiopolis.
Okay. I'd love to hear the story again about how Sasori came to be, about how, like, your various roles in the background.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been, let's see, I guess, at that studio, I heard from a friend that they were dubbing Naruto, and I was kind of familiar with it because my previous drummer watched it all the time.
Really?
And so I was very familiar with it and the characters. And anyways, a friend of mine told me they're auditioning they're starting to work on it. So I called up and asked if I could come in and audition for some of the characters, and they said sure. So I came in. There's a table full of male characters and a table full of female characters, and I grabbed all the ones that are on the male characters, and I auditioned for just about all those characters. And as I was in there, you know, the who was directing me was saying, "Oh, great job! Oh, you nailed that character. That one's perfect. You totally got that one." You know, I was like, and so every one that I was auditioning for felt good. Like I felt good after that. You know, I was like, out of all the 20 characters I auditioned, I got to get one. And weeks went by, months went by, I didn't get any character. And then they started working on Bleach there, and I got called in for some auditions for that. Eventually, you know, long story short, I booked Ichigo, and then I'm working on Bleach for a while, and I see that they're still working on Naruto. And then I get called in for some miscellaneous ninjas that die, and I eventually get Genma, and then I get Sasori. And as I'm working on it, Mary Elizabeth, who's directing us, she's looking at me and she's like, "Johnny, why didn't you ever audition for any of all these main characters? There's so many of them." And I was like, "I did." And so I don't know what happened. I don't know if they never heard it, or something happened to the files, or they just looked past me and weren't interested. I have no idea. But I auditioned for all the main characters. You know, they're like, no kid, like even Naruto,
there's a lot of main characters in Naruto.
Every single one of them in the beginning, just didn't book any of them.
Yeah, I know I asked this question yesterday at the panel, but I talk about iShine a lot. It's one of my favorite bands personally.
That's cool.
But the people that I talk to, as well as myself, would like to know what happened with iShine.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of things that happened, you know, behind the scenes and all that stuff. And you know, there's some things that are not going to be fair for me to share. But
obviously,
what I can say is that ultimately, for me, you know, I'd been working on it for a long time, for 13 years. We've got a bunch of albums out. We got over 100 songs, and I was ready. You know, I was ready to start something new, or try to do some new things. But again, there's just so many different factors that came into play, you know, that kind of led me to that decision. It was really on my heart for a couple years.
Oh, yeah. Naturally.
Was, you know, we were changing out members constantly, you know. We were touring a lot. We were playing out a lot. But I've got 2 kids now, you know, and it's a young man's game to be out there that much, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm already doing a lot of that with conventions and events and work, so I need to have more time with my kids. And so really it just kind of there's so many factors that just kind of boiled down to make it just kind of, I don't know, it just became a thing where I was ready to make a change, and I kind of needed to make a change to really to preserve what we had done with iShine. You know, I felt like if we continued, I don't know, I mean, we could maybe keep plugging away and making albums, but then I think what we had started, I didn't want to tarnish it, you know, so I wanted to preserve what it was and close the chapter and start a whole new book, you know. And then really just kind of save it. If my kids wanted to, I think I mentioned that. Yeah. If my kids wanted to
pick it back up again.
Pick up iShine in 10 years or whatever, it's theirs to do that, you know. So I wanted to leave them a little legacy. You know? Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I may die or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a very noble thing.
What they have, so.
Speaking of the kids, I'd like to know a little bit about your family, your home life, and things like that. How'd you and your wife meet?
I don't want to talk too much about my personal life.
That's cool. That's perfectly all right.
But I mean, we met through friends. We got a couple kids, you know. But life is good. Things are good. I can't complain.
My assistant right here has a question. He says, "Have you received any notice on the Eureka 7 movie and the Code Geass movies? If you can't answer, that's okay."
Eureka 7, no, I have not. No, I'm assuming this is new stuff. It's been okay. So yeah, I haven't. Other than what was the one that we just did? I can't remember. It was like a compilation of all the old stuff, and they added some new things.
If anybody would know, it's Tommy.
I don't know why I can't remember the title of it, but we did that. But that was already released through Funimation.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun actually to come back and play the character again. But in Code Geass, we haven't started working on it. And again, it's just something that, you know, I haven't started doing it, so I haven't done it yet.
Have you seen the Bleach live action or no?
I have seen the Bleach live action, yes.
What did you think of it? Honest opinion.
My honest opinion, first off, before seeing it, I was a little concerned
As was everyone else.
As everyone else was, you know, because I've seen many other live-action anime adaptations, and they've pretty much stunk. And then the Bleach one came along, but then a friend of mine who actually I worked with on Devil May Cry 4 and 5 was directing all the action sequences, you know, and I saw him in LA, and when we were dubbing some of the DMC 5 stuff that we had done in Japan, the mocap for it, but he showed me some clips of the action without any of the effects or anything.
Yeah.
And so when I saw the action, I was like, wow, okay,
Yeah.
it might be done all right, you know. And then when I saw it, you know, I was very
pretty
pleased.
good.
Yeah. And I think we can probably announce it now, though.
Oh yeah,
We
it's
definitely dubbed.
really.
Yeah.
So like the Ichigo is in the. Well, I saw.
I
saw.
I didn't realize that that Michelle Ruff wasn't voicing Ruth.
Yeah, I saw she tweeted that.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I was
and I've been talking
heartbroken.
to her about that, and I really didn't know. But that I think that was probably a Netflix call. They probably really wanted the characters to sound close to maybe what they look like rather than what the fans are familiar with. You know, so I think that's just it's unfortunate. You know.
For those that are wondering, we are at the Louisiana Comic-Con convention right now, and this is at his personal booth. In terms of the cast of Bleach, do you communicate with anyone other than the Rukia?
Well, you know, that's funny. I think because that was an anime, so we didn't see each other in the booth, but we actually, a lot of us met at the conventions, basically.
Yeah.
But a couple of them I definitely still keep in contact with. Some of them I still see at conventions. Like Michelle, I've been texting her, messaging her. Even today, this morning.
Really?
But yeah, so I do keep in touch with quite a few of them. Yeah. But that was so long ago. A lot of those guys are off. They're like me. They're just off doing their thing, you know.
Yeah.
Continuing to work and keeping busy.
Speaking of getting to know people and stuff like that, you were the Black Ranger, and obviously you got to work with the cast instead of just being in the booth with them and stuff.
Right, yeah.
What was it like, and do you communicate with them?
Power Rangers?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I keep in touch with most of them actually.
Really?
And recently been in touch with a lot of the later Rangers from other series as well. So.
Really? This is
It's like
the younger cast and
once
stuff?
you become a Power Ranger, you know,
Wow.
I mean, most of us all get along. There might be a couple that don't get along.
Yeah.
But the majority of us all get along, and we're all cool with each other.
Just down to earth people, chilling.
For the most part, I think everyone is. Yeah.
So what can we expect from Where Giants Fall?
More music.
More music.
Slightly different direction in the music. And not totally different from I Shine because I'm still writing it. I'm still singing, so it might just feel like the next evolution of I Shine. But I'm definitely purposely trying to write different from how I did.
Yeah.
Taking a different approach altogether. Not rushing out any albums. Taking my time with each song. Where sometimes I felt like I wrote, and I even did it for Where Giants Fall, but then ended up scrapping it. But I would always write like 20 songs and scale them down to about 10 to 12.
Yeah.
And then we would release the album. I did that with Where Giants Fall, but then once I had like my the 10 songs I wanted to release, I started working on those for quite a while, and then after a while I didn't want to release them anymore because I spent too much time on them. And then they kind of felt too much like I Shine for me. So I scrapped all of those and wrote a song just fresh. I was like, all right, I got to do something completely different. And that's when I released that first song, Company of Angels, which I wrote in about 4 hours. Wrote it, mixed it, sent it over to Polo. Polo was like, yeah, okay, let's do this one. And then so that became our first single. And that's kind of been my approach now. I end up writing about like 4 or 5 songs, scratch them all, and start over again with a fresh idea, and that kind of ends up being the song that we...
You feel as though you have a little bit more creative freedom with Where Giants Fall?
I've always had creative freedom. You know, it's just it's weird. It's like I have to force myself to write in a way that I get out all the... I don't know. It's hard to explain unless you're a writer. But you get out all this... the first initial feelings, the first those things. Sometimes those things are great, but sometimes they can kind of come out a little. I don't want kind of like cliche, or they
Yeah.
maybe feel a little stiff, and then so I want to then get all that stiffness out and then write raw. So it's kind of hard to explain, but that's kind of the idea.
I mean, usually it would be. But do you have any type of social media? I mean, obviously you have social media. Do you have any that you want to shout out, whether it be Where Giants Fall?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm on there on social media under my name, Johnny Young Bosch, and that's kind of all across the board, I think.
Yeah.
I think even on YouTube. Well, I just started a channel.
I heard that yesterday.
And I haven't put too much on there yet, but I'm gonna start. I've shot a lot of things already.
Yeah.
Mostly it's my side stories or whatnot that I've shared so many times, and that's kind of the main reason is I wanted to be able to share my stories, but then present it with decent quality audio. Because half of them, or 90% of them, are online already. But it's somebody's camera from far away or in the audience,
And it's very shaky, and
so I wanted to be able to present it, so that everybody can kind of hear it decently, And then my new band, Where Giants Fall, we're up on social media as well. But mostly, I don't know why, it's just easier on Instagram, so I post a lot of stuff on there first. But definitely on YouTube, we have Company of Angels from Where Giants Fall. And I hope in a month we'll have the next one. We've already started shooting the music video.
Really?
Half of it's done. We just have to shoot the story portion of the video, and then we'll release that. So.
Being at this convention, what's your favorite cosplay you've seen so far?
At this convention?
Yeah.
Cosplay, let's see. I'm trying to think what's stuck in my head. There's been a couple Power Rangers.
I've seen two.
I like the more creative ones. I'm always impressed by what people can do.
Yeah.
With cosplay and with just a glue gun and duct tape. But I haven't seen any Vash for a while, but I saw Wolfwood.
Really?
That was pretty cool to see. Yeah.
Have you taken the liberty of walking around and seeing what other people have offered, to sell?
I usually do. A lot of times I do make rounds in the dealer's room, but sometimes it's just not enough time.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I go around by myself, I get stopped a lot, and then I can't do that.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
It makes it hard for me to get around. But occasionally I do. I can throw I usually have a hat on like this. I'll throw a hat on, and then people usually don't recognize me or something. Or
Hat and sunglasses look with the hoodie. Yeah. What's your favorite backstory that you've told? That you've ever told? Your favorite side story or backstory that you've told, like the quarter situation and
stories?
Yeah.
Well, the quarter story is definitely one that people request a lot.
I had never heard it until yesterday.
Yeah, I'm doing that one on my my YouTube channel as well, but I'm trying to have it animated, actually, which I'll probably talk to Ryan, see if he can maybe do it.
Yeah.
So there's a few of those. That one's definitely one. There's a gold dollar story that I have. Half of them are homeless people stories. I have strange encounters with homeless people. There's quite a few of them. I enjoy them all. It's just another, it's another way to connect with people.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a way for people to laugh at me and to realize that I'm just a regular person.
Yeah.
That does stupid things.
Do you like it when people message you on social media or have some type of connection?
It's totally cool. It's hard for me to respond to the people on social media. I do as much as I can, but then like this, I'm at a con, right? And then as soon as I get back home, then I'll have anywhere between 20 and 100 new messages, not from this con, but from a few cons
people that are
as well as and then it's hard for me to catch up, and then by the time I try to get to it, on my Facebook, I have over 1,000.
Jeez, that is a lot.
And I just can't keep up.
Yeah.
And so honestly, it's easier. That's another reason why I did the YouTube channel, because then I could see the comments and stuff. Try to reply to those in the next video.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I'm trying to do it. But even then, I'm sure it's gonna be hard to answer all the questions.
Yeah. Being in the Devil May Cry series, do you have any type of actual video games you like to play, or?
I don't have time for a lot of full-on
Really?
games. The last game that I spent a lot of actual time on was Kingdom Hearts. The original.
Really?
Yeah, the first one.
Huh.
I spent a lot of time on that. And then there we go.
Right now, you can meet Ron. You can see Ron Simmons' panel. That's All-American Ron Simmons, Pro Football Hall of Famer.
All right, so
Ron Simmons is here, College Football Hall of Famer, pro wrestler.
Ron's doing a thing.
Yeah, apparently Ron's doing a
Ron's
thing.
got a panel.
Nice to meet you, Ron.
Yeah, here we are. That's what happens
Yep.
live at the con.
Yep.
But what was I talking about?
Shit, I forgot too.
It's all right. It wasn't that important then, I guess.
Yeah.
Also at 1:15
No,
this afternoon, he's coming up in just 15 minutes. Have a panel in the main panel room with Rob Guillory and Cody Chamberlain. Local favorites, Rob Guillory and Cody Chamberlain. Main panel room at 1:15.
Have you ever eaten any interesting foods within Lafayette?
In Lafayette?
Yeah.
Not Lafayette.
No, it's not Lafayette. Like a lot of people.
Let's see. Interesting foods. Let's see. We had gator last night.
Really?
Wow. Got a lot of seafood last night. Lobster, of course, and got some crab. Well, it's crab or crawfish? I can't remember.
Crab.
And because it just came out in meat form. We didn't see what it was. And shrimp, we got a lot of seafood, a little bit of surf and turf last night. So
Yeah, the whole
oysters,
Louisiana cuisine.
Yeah, we definitely did that.
Yeah.
Got some gumbo and all that. Yeah.
That's usually what people go for.
Nothing out of the. I don't think gator was probably the only thing that is not common outside of here. That, but I definitely was like, well, I got to get some, some seafood or something. So we did get some gator.
Something along those lines. Did you enjoy it?
About weirdest food overall. Like I've had weird food in Japan.
Really? What did you have?
I'm not even sure if I want to share.
Oof.
I've had a lot.
Big oof.
Okay, so there was Ruben did this to me, the guy who does Dante. But anytime I go out, when we're in Japan and we go out to eat, he makes us eat some weird stuff. Let's see, I've had whale.
Really?
I've had chicken cartilage. I've had raw horse.
What?
Lots of raw everything. They even have raw chicken there. Raw ground beef. But actually, let me look up the name of it. Let me look up the Japanese name for this other one, and I'll let your followers look it up if they really want to know what it is. Shirako.
Shirako?
I had some shirako, which with Ruben, who's Dante, in Devil May Cry. Him and a few other of our castmates were down there, and he ordered shirako and made everybody eat it before he told us what it was. So if you want to know what it was, you gotta look it up online. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you that.
I want to know, what's the weirdest thing somebody's ever asked you to sign?
Weirdest thing. I had somebody ask me to sign their baby. Body parts are always kind of weird. I had a guy ask me to sign his leg, and at a con, I was with Jason Frank.
Was it a prosthetic leg?
Jason Frank, and then I turned back and looked on my table, and he had taken off his prosthetic leg.
Oh, it was.
Like hopping around, I was like, oh shoot! All right. I was like, dang, all right, I'll sign it real quick. But it was more just kind of caught me off guard. But.
Yeah. If you can gain any one ability from your past characters, which would it be? Personally, I'm stuck between Vash and Lelouch. Thanks,
if I can
Tommy.
gain an ability,
Yeah.
Lelouch would be, maybe my first choice. I guess Vash also, too. It would be between those two.
Really?
But Lelouch, I mean, that's, I don't know. You can control people. That's pretty powerful power,
Oh, yeah.
You only get one shot at it, though.
Out of the years of doing Bleach, I mean, obviously you've screamed Getsuga Tensho more than Goku's probably used the Kamehameha.
I don't know.
And, but in the final arc, Ichigo actually gets a new ability called Getsuga Jujisho, which is, he's got dual Zanpakuto, he makes a slash upwards and a slash across, and it flies in a cross to represent, I think, his Quincy abilities.
Right.
Have you seen that?
I've not seen that, but I've heard about it.
That shit's wild. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
That's awesome.
Like, there's the main villains of the arc. They're called Sternritters. I'm sure you know that. And it's basically like, what if the Quincy came back and waged war on the Soul Society? Well, I think four of the strongest Sternritters go to take Ichigo down all at once, and Ichigo just like solos them. Like, he grabs one and just chunks her across the battlefield, and it's personally the coolest thing ever. You'll definitely see it in Ryan's animation and all that. But do you have anything you'd like to tell the audience? I think the podcast has been going on between the loudspeaker and the fans. I mean,
when does this thing air? When are you guys putting this
it'll
thing out?
probably air
A week or two? Or?
give or take.
Well, I'll just say this. Thanks for the support. Thanks for following. Definitely, if you're into Bleach, just don't give up. There's still the chance of things
Still hope.
coming out. And I've definitely been doing things on the side just for fun, more fan servicey,
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be seeing more of that too in the future.
Have you heard about the light novels? I know I got you to sign one yesterday.
That was actually the first time I saw one.
Really?
Yeah, that was the first time I saw one.
Wow. Well, there's a set of 4 light novels. The first 2 are, I think, the first arc where Rukia meets Ichigo. Then the last 2 are the in-between, the 17 months between Ichigo losing his powers from Aizen and the Fullbring arc. It basically says, like, Zuraki, what if the Kenpachi before him is brought back from Muken, like where Aizen is, and he like terrorizes. Well, what was I gonna say? Oh, I forgot what I was saying with that. Dang it! It's really cool.
So awesome.
I know. But there's 3 more light novels to come out, and it's called Can't Fear Your Own World. It basically follows the story of Shuhei Hisagi, and in it, as of right now, it's confirmed that Shinji is fighting Grimmjow. I know that was a big fight with a lot of people. What was the big climax of that for you? Doing that fight between Ichigo and Grimmjow? Yeah.
I don't know. Because for me, I was more from the beginning to where it ended up, like the animation style. That in those fights, for me, I was like, wow, it's done really well.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just wanted to watch more of it. It was like I mean, what is it? I think back to like Dragon Ball. Like 1,000 episodes of one fight. And I could have sat there and watched this fight and worked on this fight forever.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to just continue to see more of that. And there's a couple of them that were like that. Ukiura, whatever.
That was a good fight too.
That was another one that I was like, wait a second, no, I need more of this fight.
Right. Yeah.
And this right here.
What?
But it's stuff like that throughout, and I'm sure there's a lot of budget reasons for that. Yeah, I mean, the fans deserve a little more.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad the live action is out. I'm glad it's pretty good. I did enjoy it, and it was cool to be able to come back and voice Ichigo. Again, it's always weird to be doing a dubbing live action thing,
Right.
It's a little odd.
Because the lip flaps
really matches,
Yeah.
But I think for the fans, it might be kind of cool to hear a few of us returning. It would have been great to have us all in it.
I remember what I was talking about with the light novels. It wasn't the Grimmjow fight. It was actually. Do you know about the mobile game Bleach Brave Souls?
Yes.
They're actually putting the light novel in the game.
That's cool.
And they're like writing it out in English for everybody that wants to know what's happening. Do you ever see yourself like hoping that the English voice actors would come in for the game? Because they do have the Japanese.
100%.
Like
even when they had the mobile game, or in this one, I was like, I never understood why we weren't working.
Right. Because
I don't know who's in charge of all that, but I'm like, the fans.
They have Dragon Ball Legends. Have you heard about that game?
So I'm not really sure. Where was I? I think I was at either Otakon or AX, one of those, and I remember seeing banners for it.
Yeah.
Wait a second. What, are we not working on this? So a little bummed that we aren't doing anything on it.
Yeah.
But then and maybe it's premature. Who knows? Maybe I'll get contacted on it.
Maybe. I know it's got over like 35 million downloads
right.
on Google Play.
It would just be great to get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, even the Bleach live action.
Yeah.
They released without English.
Yeah.
You know, and I felt like,
Well, when they
wait a little bit. Really.
when they first put it on Netflix, they only had English, but it was like a shitty robot voice that was doing it. Like you put it through Google Translate, and that's what was reading it.
That's funny.
And
I didn't know
like
that. Actually,
they had to petition it to actually be put in the original dub for it.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah.
That's
It-
bizarre because I mean, there's been a couple projects that I've worked on,
Mm-hmm.
and other projects that I know people have worked on, where the wrong version was uploaded.
It's weird.
That's bizarre.
But what's your least favorite arc in Bleach? Everybody's
I enjoyed a lot of it. I think it's hard for me to say my least favorite because I did have fun throughout. But I think the bounce stuff is maybe.
really.
I would say it's my. I don't want to use the words least favorite because that's it's the one that maybe wasn't as compelling for me.
Yeah. I think I remember you saying it was because it was like the Soul Society arc all over again, basically.
Right. Well, yeah, it was. When we did the first 60 episodes, I had a story arc, you know, and I was taking my voice to a certain place.
Yeah.
And I had to restart, which felt weird. For me,
Yeah.
But that's just it's kind of the natural thing with anime. It just kind of happens like that.
How do you feel about them taking Bleach off of Netflix?
It's a bummer,
Yeah.
'cause that's
Especially
where-
because they only have 3 seasons.
I know that's where a lot of people I think watch it. But it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
And
It's also free on Viz.
is it?
Yeah. Like if you go to the dub. That's wild, right?
That is wild. I actually
Like-
did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
They do
awesome.
it through Hulu actually.
Really?
Yeah. Like when you start up the video, it'll be like the Hulu intro, and then it'll be the Bleach intro.
Oh, that's excellent. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's pretty sweet.
Usually when I interview the celebrities, I ask them one standard question, and that is 1 to 2 standard questions. Who is your agent? Like who are you agents with? And how'd you get your start?
Who's my agent?
Yes.
Like my voiceover agent?
Yes.
It's Maureen at Osbrink. She's my voiceover agent. How did I get started in voiceover?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's a tough one. That one's after Power Rangers. I did, actually someone just brought me DVD, this Extreme Heist, wicked game with the stunt guys, the Japanese stunt team, Alpha Stunts, Uchi Sakamoto from Power Rangers, and they were using a Japanese camera. The audio equipment was not Japanese, and somehow it just didn't work right. I don't know what happened there, but I basically had to dub myself throughout the entire film. And as I was dubbing myself, the producer of the film walked in, heard my voice, thought I had a decent hero voice, and asked me to come in and audition for Trigun. And I took that role, and it just went on from there. Lunch is here. I'm being
Okay,
told.
cool. I was like, do I have to speed it up? Because we're almost done.
Cool. All right.
Speaking of lunch,
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever come back, I'd love to take you out to lunch, buy you a drink. Yeah, I emailed you actually like 2 months ago before, and I understand.
2 months ago?
Yes, it was. Give or take 2 months ago, like a month.
Here's the one I got.
Yeah. But I emailed you basically introducing myself, telling you my name is Cole. I'd love to take you out to lunch, interview you, things like that. And it is for this podcast. In the past, I have interviewed Richard Epcar through Skype, which is the voice of Zangetsu, for those that don't know. Old Zangetsu, not young. I don't know who's young. But Kyle Abear, who is the voice of Adult Gohan, Sosuke motherfucking Aizen, and amongst others. We were watching Your Name. Have you seen that? Dude, you gotta watch Your Name. It is the greatest love story of all time. It really is. Like, it'll give you goosebumps. It'll make you want to cry. It really is good. He's the voice of one of the characters in Your Name as well.
Yeah.
But I think if you ever come back to Louisiana, I mean, you know who my people are. I know who your people are. And I hope I can take you out to lunch, get to know you a little more, you know.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, I do quite a bit with AV Con, so
Really?
hopefully they'll have me back, you know. So we'll see, yeah.
Well, with that being said, pals, I will catch you next time in the next episode of Seireitei Talk, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything Bleach related. I am your host, Head Captain Kuro. Joining me is the one and only Johnny Young Bosch.
Thank you guys. Thanks for listening.